So how was GS paper 3? Were you able to understand? So this is how, when you look at the question, you will come to know exactly what is your present position and where you have to reach, or to what level of preparation is required, so that you can answer those type of question. And actually, as I told you, there is always a strategy. If you follow a correct strategy, definitely you will be able to get through the success more earlier than later, more sooner than later. So just follow the proper strategy. And today we are going to discuss GS paper 4. So if I have to compare from 2024, the allocations of the questions and marks is same. So last year also they have given 6 case studies, this year also 6 case studies they had given. And in terms of difficulty level, if I say, there was a normalization of pattern, except that last year they had asked some question very directly. It was few question were application based, right? That's related with the government schemes and policies. Like the last time they had asked a question on mission ethical perspective. Last time they had asked ethical perspective, and they have related with some government schemes like Mission Karma Yogi. So some government schemes, or they had also related with BNS, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So such kind of question directly we couldn't see. There are, of course, there are some, but not as direct as it was given last year. Last year, some questions were very much directly application based. It was very much clear that they are asking certain application based, particularly related to government schemes and policies. What we study for GS, that government schemes and policy has been given the ethical perspective. So this year, if we have to say, there was not such direct question, but of course in direct question we will see, like the first question itself is regarding social media and all, media and ethics. So that is there, because in news we keep on hearing and talking about. But last year, some of the government schemes directly they have given from the ethical perspective, like Mission Karma Yogi or Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So such kind of question this year it is not there. Otherwise, the similar kind of pattern as usual they had asked. And in terms of case studies, last year also 6 questions and this year also 6 questions on case studies. So let's look into the question one by one. So the first question, you see, in the present digital age, social media. Present digital age, social media has revolutionized our way of communication and interaction. However, it has raised several ethical issues and challenges. Describe the key ethical dilemmas in this regard. What is dilemma? Ethical dilemma? Is it right or wrong? Right, dilemma, when you are not sure whether it is right or wrong, that is called dilemma. So what are the ethical dilemmas or ethical problems or ethical issues regarding social media? So certainly, the social media has made the communication, you can say it is more democratic, more open. Now people can easily voice their concern, their issues, and then they don't have to get the approval of the government or so. They can voice it at least on the social media, and social media has become a great influencer, isn't it? Great influencer, and in fact it influences it is also influencing the policies of the government. So it has become a great platform to voice one's concern or ideas, isn't it? So it has democratized the freedom of speech and expression. What you have in article freedom of speech and expression, article 19(1)(a), social media has facilitated the freedom of speech and expression. It has democratized, it has enlarged the scope of freedom of speech and expression. So definitely social media in that way has revolutionized the communication, isn't it? We can communicate, we are here, but we can communicate in any part of the world very easily, isn't it? And our opinions can matter if we are putting our opinion in a very, very forceful manner with proper kind of facts, and so it is very, it does matter, it can influence, right? So there are certain positive aspect, of course there are certain positive aspect, but there are many negative aspect of social media as well. So positive aspect, it has provided us the platform to express our opinion, right? It has democratized the freedom of speech and expression. So these are the positive aspect. We can reach to the government, we can influence the policy of the government. So it's a very strong platform. But what are the negative concerns? Issues of privacy. Everything is on social media, isn't it? Everything is on social media, and that could be misutilized, isn't it? That could be misutilized, and in fact in many cases we have seen such misutilization, right? Privacy issues, then yes, fake information, very good. Fake information or misinformation, paid promotions, which we feel that it is real, but actually it is a paid promotion, isn't it? We feel that yes, this information is real and this information is reaching so much of views and all, but actually it is paid, isn't it? So it has created a bubble of reality, and many a time it could misguide. And of course apart from that you have the addiction, stress, cyber bullying, stalking, isn't it? And then influential culture, many YouTuber and all, they are influencing, isn't it? From nowhere, I mean, we don't know about their background, nothing, but then people started following them and then influencing, and they grow so much in popularity that, you know, many a time they misuse their popularity. Like recently, you know, this whether it is correct or not, but this YouTuber, this Dharmasthala issues, isn't it? And YouTuber has talked about that, and he is being called for the questioning and all. So without verifying the fact, many YouTubers, they present the issues without verifying proper fact, and it create a sensation. So what earlier we were getting from the media or news, now we are getting from the social media, which is not properly verifiable. We don't know whether the fact is properly verifiable or not, and they have become influencer also. So these are the various ethical issues and problems and dilemma whether to believe or not. And then how to regulate, of course, how it can be resolved through proper regulation. So social media has to be properly regulated so that the harmful effect of social media on people's perspective should be controlled or should be done away with, or they should not have the negative kind of impact. So for that it has to be properly regulated. There has to be a balance. This is the freedom of speech and expression, but at the same time it has to be done with a responsibility, sense of responsibility. So that is what you know about the GSE ethics question. As I told you, the 250 marks of ethics and essay paper. There's a 500 marks ethics and essay paper, and the amount of preparation for ethics and essay is much less. Essay to in fact even more less, and ethics also I would say very less preparation is required. Whatever we study for our GS paper, the same thing we have to study from the ethical perspective. And there are certain, the words, terminology you should know, remember, and you have to play with those ideas. You have to play with those idea, accountability, transparency, responsiveness, good conduct, value, all this if you are aware of. If you read and you are aware of these terminologies and you know how to use this terminology, ethics paper is done. Not even 1/4 of preparation is required. What you do in GS polity, I mean GS paper 2, GS paper 1 and GS paper 3, not even 1/4 of effort is required. But yes, a very good understanding, and the propensity of getting higher marks is also more in ethics paper. People are getting 120, 30 aram se, but crossing 100 marks in paper 1, 2, 3 is a big challenge. But people are getting, so that's why people can really score well. You just have to understand certain ideas and you can play with those ideas and you can get very good marks in ethics. You should know how to utilize those ideas properly. The next question. A. Okay, 1B. Constitutional morality is not a natural sentiment but a product of civil education. You see, constitutional morality now it has becoming very much popular. In GS paper 2 also we have studied, and here also. So constitutional morality is not a natural sentiment. It is not a natural sentiment, but a product of civil education and adherence of rule of law. Examine the significance of constitutional morality for public servant, highlights the role in promoting good governance and ensuring accountability in public administration. So what is constitutional morality? Already we have seen in GS paper 2 when we were discussing. Adherence to the values, principles and spirits enshrined in the Indian Constitution. That is what called constitutional morality, isn't it? You are adhering to the values, the principles, the spirit of Constitution. That is called constitutional morality. So it is saying that it is not natural sentiments, because people by nature what they are, they want pleasure over responsibility. They want pleasure over responsibility, and adhering to constitutional morality means being a responsible person, and responsibility is something which has to be taught. It is not a natural thing. It is not a natural thing, because when we are born as a child, we are a free spirit. We don't know what is our duty, what is our responsibility, isn't it? We don't know. We are being taught, isn't it? We are being taught. If you are taught, you become a responsible person. If you are not being taught, you are not a responsible person, right? So that is what constitutional morality is, not a natural sentiment, that has to be done through civil educations, and the people should be made aware the importance of rule of law. Now examine this in the context of what? Public servant. Of course, when you become a public servant, your role or adherence to public or constitutional morality become even more important, because whatever the steps you will be taking, it will have a larger impact, isn't it? As a commoner, of course, adhering to constitutional morality is important, but even more important is for a civil servant. In fact, it is sine qua non. It is extremely important. Otherwise, they will not be able to discharge their duty in a proper manner. And whatever the steps they take, it has a very large impacts. So that's why it is very important that they should adhere to the constitutional morality. They should work within the guidelines of the constitutional norms, because the administrative work they will be doing, the policy suggestion they will be making, the policy implementation they will be doing, it will have a huge consequences. So if they don't adhere to the constitutional morality, then what will happen? Issues of inefficiency, issue of corruption, issues of leakages, lack of development, isn't it? That is what will be the consequences. And if they adhere, then what will lead? It will lead to accountability, transparency. They will work within the constitutional norms for achieving justice, equality, fraternity, isn't it? That is what the constitutional value, justice, right? What is mentioned in your preamble? Justice, equality, liberty, fraternity. So the civil servant, they should work for all this. Harmony, bringing in society harmony. But in reality, what we are seeing? Issues of corruptions. In fact, the public servant, they don't control the communal disharmony. Sometimes, in fact, they instigate communal disharmony, isn't it? Particularly during the riots, that Godhra riots 2002. Why so many people lost their life and the properties of the minorities were being destroyed? Because the civil servant, they did not do their work properly. Any communal rights for that matter. Their work is to control the communal rights. But in many places, unfortunately, we have seen, in place of doing their duty or adhering to the constitutional norms, they do unconstitutional work. So for a public servant, it is extremely important that they should be made aware of the constitutional morality. Now, how it can be done? How it can be done? Through training, isn't it? How it can be done? Through, that's why they should be provided proper training and intermittent training also, regular training or regular workshop on public service. All these things should be provided, so that a workshop on value education, ethics, public service, training, institutional training, foundational training, or in all these things, what the mind should be indoctrinated with constitutional ideals. Indoctrination. That they should be trained in such a manner that they should not deviate from the constitutional norms and principle, because their work is to uphold constitutional morality, right? So that is what you talk about, what is constitutional morality, justice, equality, liberty and all. And then it is even very important for a public servant, because the impact of the work is very, very high. And then how it can be done? How it can be done? Through regular training, workshop, community participation, means interactions among the various public servant and the community, making arrangement where they can have an interactions among with the community people and the public servant. So all these things will help to make the public servants adhere to constitutional morality, right? So that is what it is, not a natural sentiment but product of civil education. So they had to be proper training, has to be provided to them, so that they adhere to constitutional morality. So that is what you understand the question very well. Define what is constitutional morality, and then talk about why for public servant it is even more important, and then how it can be inculcated, that also you can talk about. Okay. Next question. Karl von Clausewitz once said, war is a diplomacy by other means. Critically analyze the above statement in the present context of contemporary geopolitical conflict. So we know that the wars is going on, Middle East is disturbed, Ukraine Russia war and all. So in this context, what he is saying? He is saying that war is a diplomacy by other means. So see, for this you have to understand, it is not, the question is not very easy, I would say, but and it is not very tough as well. It's all about, you know, understanding. If you understand well, definitely you will be able to write well. Now he is saying war is a diplomacy. Now what is diplomacy? What is diplomacy? What is diplomacy? What is the objective of a diplomacy, you tell me? To achieve certain objective. We appoint ambassador, we have this embassy in the foreign countries and in other countries. What is the objective? There is certain objective to achieve, to have certain kind of relationship, or we want to have, we want to achieve certain objective. That is the work of a diplomat. Everybody in fact is working with certain objective, and diplomacy also has certain objectives. Diplomacy has also certain objective. Now he is saying that war is also nothing but diplomacy, but it is use of force, use of force. Generally what we understand diplomacy, diplomacy means dialogue and all, isn't it? Diplomacy means we understand what? Dialogue. We always say that diplomacy means things should be resolved through diplomacy, dialogue, communication, isn't it? That is what we see. But then he has said that war is a diplomacy by other means, by other means. So what is the other means? Forceful means, right? So war said in all the diplomacy there is certain objective to be achieved. Diplomacy is meant to achieve certain objectives. So war is also, so war is a forceful diplomacy. It is a forceful diplomacy to achieve certain objectives. So that is what you have to understand the meaning of the question first. So it is bit tricky. It is not that very easy, I would say. Analyze in the above statement in the contemporary geopolitics conflict. Yes, so you know, people are using warring tactics to achieve certain goals. Like Russia is having war with Ukraine. Why? Because Russia thought that whatever the Ukraine is doing, it is there against national interest. By joining NATO, it is against their national interest. They want, and still Ukraine went with NATO. So obviously one is that they has already warned it, and in the name of protecting their national interest, they went to war. And also you can say ego issues also, because they told why Ukraine didn't listen to me. So what they did war. They also took some of the territories of the Ukraine, isn't it? They took out some of the territory from Ukraine. So that is what, whatever their aim, they have used what? War as a medium to achieve that objective. Similar way, Israel and Palestine war or Hamas war. So Hamas did certain thing, and then in the retaliation, Israel is doing the disproportionate use of force. Okay, you challenged us, you see how I will teach you the lesson. So that is what you have to talk about, and you talk about Israel, you can talk about the present war, what they are doing and what objective. So that's what, use of general knowledge only. Yet use of whatever you study in general study, application aspect. Should know the application, because that is what they are asking in the context of contemporary geopolitical conflict. And then you talk about that war is not the solution. War is not the solution. Though war is used to achieve certain goal, but achieving certain goals through the use of force or war is never a permanent solution. Because if you know, again what happened, issues of Israel and Palestine, you always see Israel is definitely more powerful, but every time why Palestinian people, they again strike again, they know that you know Israel will overpower us, and the damage we have to suffer will be very, very high. Still they are fighting. Why? Because war is not a solution. It creates a feeling of enmity. And whenever we get little power, we'll try to strike it back. Same way Pakistan and India. Same way, we had numerous terrorist attacks. We had Uri, Pahalgam, and Pulwama, So we had Uri. Again, it was Pulwama, I guess. Pulwama or Uri first? Uri. Uri we had, right? We did the surgical strike. Again we had Pulwama. We did the surgical strike. Again you see Pahalgam. Did they stop? So we are doing surgical strike, but are they stopping? They are not. So whenever they will recoup again, they will build up again they will strike. So that is not the solution. The world, we have seen in the world that war is never a solution. Always, it creates a feeling of animosity. Because by dominating your enemy, you cannot win them. You cannot win them. It can only happen through dialogue and all. And by finding a peaceful solution. But anyway, things are not working in that way. So what we at the end, what you will write? Again you will write about the diplomacy through dialogue, interaction, creating trust. First of all, you have to build trust among the opponent partners or opponents. You have to build the trust. Climate of trust has to be first created, and they should come to the table to talk, and there should be certain solutions should be reached through mutual dialogue. That is how you can conclude with war is never the solution, right? So first you explain the meaning of what he said. War is a diplomacy, but by other means. So you can say that war is according to the said person, war is also one medium of diplomacy to achieve certain goal, and that to achieve that goal they use the force. It is a forceful means to achieve certain goals. And you give the example of Israel, Palestine and Ukraine and Russia, you can say. And then you can say that war as a diplomacy can never find a lasting solution. And you give the example why it is not a lasting solution. You can even give India's example. How are they striking it back again and again? They will recoup. We said that we have destroyed their camps and all, trainings and all. We have destroyed the terrorists. But you see, again they will somehow they will form it, and again they will strike it. So we have to improve our intelligence. We have to improve our security apparatus. We have to be always on guard. The Pahalgam attempt happened because we were not on our guard. That was the failure of our system. We know that earlier they have struck it back many a time. After Uri also they did it again and again. So how can we say that surgical strike is a successful one? It is not. It is just like a reaction. We had the pain, the painful kind of thing, and when then we reacted, we took the revenge. It's like a revenge, but it's not a lasting solution. I hope you understood. Yes? Second wala, you see. Second, to be keeping the national security in mind. Keeping the national security in mind, examining the ethical dilemmas related to controversy over environmental clearance of the development projects and ecological sensitive border areas. Now this again, this question has some present context. Always see your answer will be more enriched if you give present context to it. So ecologically sensitive area, our states like Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, they all share international border, and then the northeast region also they share the international border, and all these states are ecologically sensitive, and the way you see Uttarakhand, every now and then the climatic, the kind of catastrophic damage, the way it is happening because of the ecologically sensitive region. So that you have to talk about. Now the question is about that national security is important, but then they are building some developmental project, like for example after Galwan clash, the government is building certain infrastructure in the Ladakh region and the LOC region, line of control region, right? Some infrastructural project is going. So that you can give the example, because that area is very much ecologically sensitive. So one is that, should we go for the infrastructural development in the name of national security, or we should protect the ecological sustainability, or there should be some kind of a balance, because we can't even overlook our national security, isn't it? But then that area is very ecologically sensitive. So what will you write? So you have to write here regarding that, we have to think a plan to bring a balance between ecological sustainability and national security, because we can't look our national security also. So whatever the developmental project is there in these border area, ecologically sensitive, because all you talk about, you know, these regions are very ecologically sensitive, Jammu and Kashmir or Ladakh or, you know, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, the northeast region, they all are very ecologically sensitive zone. And building such heavy infrastructure in the name of security, that might jeopardize the ecological sustainability. And the way we are seeing in Uttarakhand, the way crisis is happening. So what has to be done? Yes, of course we can't overlook the national security. So the developmental project must align with the ecological sensitivity. We have to do proper environment impact assessment, and we should find alternative development model, isn't it? The kind of model we are doing here in the plain area, concretization and all, such kind, or heavy dam or heavy kind of infrastructure, that will not be suitable in those areas. So that's why we have to find an alternative developmental model which will be suitable in that region. So our national security has to be put into place. At the same time, we have to see that whatever the developmental model we are utilizing must align with the environmental sustainability. That is how you can write a beautiful answer, isn't it? Third question, you see, those who in trouble untroubled are. Now this question is also, I can say, little, you know, understanding of the topic is required. Those who in trouble untroubled are, will trouble itself. Are you able to understand? So such kind of question, that I told you, one was the war and diplomacy, that was little tricky, I can say. The people has to first understand it. And secondly, this question also, I can say that little tricky it is there, definitely, but then again understanding is required. And this question, again, if you understood it, it's very easy. If you not, then you may find it trouble. So they are saying that those who untroubled are, means what it is talking about. If someone's, you know, that facing trouble, but they are untroubled. Untroubled means they are still maintaining the resilience, silence, calmness in the face of trouble. Even there is trouble in their life, still they are maintaining with calmness, patience. Then what will happen? Will trouble itself, means that problem will face itself problem. Why problem come to us? To create a problem in life, right? What is the objective of the problems? To create a trouble in our life. But even if the trouble has come and we are calm, quiet, cool, and we are handling with a very cool mind, definitely that problem will get irritated. Oh, I came to his life to create problem, he is still you know cool. So that is what the meaning of, very deeper meaning, isn't it? Those who in trouble untroubled are, untroubled. In the face of problem, you are still behaving as if there is no problem, you are calm. Buddha, when the Daku Angulimal came, he was totally calm, unfearful. That's why the Angulimal said, I am such a dreaded Daku and dreaded bandit, and how come you are so calm? Isn't it? So that example is a very good example actually. So you should have an attitude of Buddha, isn't it? Calmness, even if the problems come, if you handle with calmness, all the problem will be solved. And the problem will, again he will say, oh, I will never come to him or her, because he is not giving me any kind of due respect. He is not even getting any kind of frightened by seeing me. So that the problem will again not come to you. The problem itself will feel problem. Why he is not feeling my problem, or why he is not feeling the intensity of the heat. So that is what, and it was by Thiruvalluvar. So who was he? Little bit you can write. He was a great saint of Tamil Nadu, who has written Thiruvalluvar, which is considered to be the fifth Veda. And according to this quote, what it is saying, that if your mind is calm, you can handle any situation. The problem will fear you. The problem will fear you. That is what it is saying. The trouble will trouble itself. The problem will only feel that, oh my God, they will become fearful. So that is what the meaning. So in that context, you can explain that. I think it is. So it is all about your mindset, control of emotion, control of emotions, being optimistic, being hopeful, So even in the face of adversity, if we are hopeful, optimistic, calm, we can handle any problem. But if we become aggressive, lose our mind, and we react in a negative manner, then definitely the problem is going to become a bigger problem. That is what is happening, Israel and all, or you can say Israel-Palestine issue, Ukraine and Russia issue, or even the way US is behaving in a very reckless manner. US, they are in fact instigating everyone. That is what, like, forceful kind of thing, it's never going to achieve the real goal. By force we cannot achieve, but if we react in a negative manner, we lose control over oneself, we are not going to achieve the goal, or we are not going to solve the problems. So it is all about the problem solving mind, and that require calmness, patience, and not be fearful of the problem, rather than face it, not to run away from the problem, but to face with more confidence and without any fear. So numerous examples. So just collect some example, be ready with certain examples by looking at these questions. Be ready with the example. The next quote is that of the next quote is 3C. The strength of society is not its law. The strength of a society is not in its law, but in the morality of its people. So lot of morality issues. Of course, it is ethics, so morality issue will come. So according to Swami Vivekananda, what he said, the strength of society is not in its law, but in the morality. So what does it say is that law is an external force. External force. Law is an external force, isn't it? We become many a time we abide by certain things because we know if we don't abide by those things, there will be the penalty. There will be penalty or punishment. Though because of fear of punishment and penalty, many times people obey the law. But what he is saying that the strength of a society is not in its law. Definitely not in its law, but in the morality of the people. So if people have moral values, actually there is no requirement of law. You would have heard about, there is certain place in India also, I guess, that people there, they don't lock their door. There is some village, I think near Sirdi or in Maharashtra. Sirdi? Somewhere I think I have heard about. So they don't lock the door. Can you imagine in any other place like that? We are fearful, even if the law is there, isn't it? Against theft, against robbery, everything we have the law. But still people are fearful. People know that even if law is there, people are there to break the law. Isn't it? Still law is there. So law is against murder, law is against burglary, law is against theft, but still murder is happening. Law is against sexual assault, but still sexual assault. Isn't it? So that's what Swami Vivekananda is saying, that law is not the important thing. Morality of the people. If all the people are moral values, they have self-control, we have, and we abide by certain ideas, or in India case we can talk about constitutional norm. If everybody is obeying the constitution, then we don't need any forceful law. If everybody is abiding by justice, liberty, equality, non-exploitation, then we don't need any law. So, and even after law, if people do not have the moral values, law will have no impact. Corruption, you see, we have a law against corruption or not? But very openly corruption is happening. Why? Because the law is not able to solve the issues of corruption. It's all about the people's morality. People have moral values, strong moral values of honesty, integrity, justice, equality. We will be able to control ourselves, and we will know our limit, or we will have a proper conduct, proper behavior. So that you can give an example of that also, that village, if you could remember that there is in India there is a village where nobody put a lock on their door. Why? Because all the people, they believe all, and also they believe that people are good, people are honest, isn't it? People believe in the morality. They know that I am not going to touch his property, that is their property. This is my property, I have no rights over their property, I am not going to touch it. Moral values. So that is what, in that context you can write a very good answer by giving examples. Next question. For any kind of social re-engineering, by successfully implementing welfare scheme, a civil servant must use reason and critical thinking in an ethical framework. Justify the statement with suitable examples. So for everything you have to give the suitable example. So now you have to understand what is social re-engineering. Okay, so that's why your vocabulary has to be really good. I keep on telling, read newspaper, you'll build strong vocabulary. So social re-engineering means, what is engineering? What do you mean by engineering? Fixing certain problems, isn't it? Through the manipulating the thing, but manipulation means not in a wrong manner, but in a good manner, right? So that is called engineering. They are saying what? Re-engineering. Social re-engineering, nothing but it is about social justice. Social justice. And how the social justice is being brought? Through welfare welfare policies, social re-engineering. So whatever the problems in society, there is a problem of uh, there is a problem of high and low caste issues, religion issues, isn't it? Or gender inequality. There are a lot of different type of inequalities and vulnerabilities. So that has to be fixed. That is called re-engineering, social re-engineering. Means to change the current order, which is not good. To change the current system, which is not good. That is called re-engineering, societal re-engineering. And which can be achieved through welfare policies. So in this, so first of all, of course, you have to understand the meaning, right? So what is the role of the civil servant? Civil servant must use reason and critical thinking. So to bring social re-engineering, of course, the role of a civil servant is to implement welfare policies, right? That is what particularly in country like India, the role of a civil servant to protect the interest of weaker section of society through various policies of the government. Right? That is what they have to do. Through the various policies of the government, they have to uplift the weaker section of the society. That is their role. So that is what you have to write. And in that way, what is the question about? They must use reason and critical thinking in ethical framework. So whenever they are doing their role, they have to think from the ethical perspective. Like, see, whenever you as a civil servant might have lot of pressures from your seniors, maybe from the political leaders also, to take a wrongful stand or go against the constitutional norms. Like for example, in communal rights, I told you, you may get an order from the political leader that don't do any work, or just keep silent, don't control the communal rights, like that. But what is your role? To listen to your senior, which is giving you unconstitutional order, or to abide by your duty and protect the constitution? So you have to adopt constitutional norms or not. So you can even tell to your seniors that these are the unconstitutional orders, you give me in writing, right? So obviously they will never give you in writing to do such thing. You don't do anything, just wait and watch. They can't give you in writing. So you can use your tricks also. So you have to use what? Critical thinking. Critical thinking means independent thinking. You just can't obey the order of your seniors if they are unconstitutional. You should not. Just because my senior is giving me order, I will apply the order, or I will discharge my role, whatever as my senior is saying. No. You have to see, you have to use your independent mind. That is what, you are not a robot, isn't it? You crack your UPSC examination not to become a robot, to use your critical thinking, isn't it? An independent mind. You have to, the most important thing, you have to abide the constitution, constitutional morality. That is what the most important thing for you to abide. So that is what, in that way you can write that we must use our reason and critical thinking, and in that context you can give certain examples. That issue of communal rights you can give, or you can also, like in MNREGA also, MNREGA, when you use the fund, so MNREGA, the fund is given to you, but how you utilize the fund, that is important. You may simply, there are a lot of issues of fake muster roll, non-payment of wages, isn't it? So that is what you should not do. You have to do as per the constitutional requirement, or as per what is ethically correct, isn't it? You can pilfer those money, you can siphon those money, but that is not what that money is meant for. The money is meant for correctly utilized for the correct purpose. So you can use the give the example of MNREGA, where issues of fake muster rolls, non-payment of wages are there. But you as a civil servant, you have to implement well. You have to see that the fund is properly utilized, proper muster rolls are there, no fake fake iCards are there, or fake people are getting jobs, all those money, the fund is not diverted to other purpose, or there is no leakage of fund. That is what you give some example of. You can give Reka also, you can give issues of communal rights also, you can give. Next question 4B. What are the major teachings of Mahavira? What are the major teachings of Mahavira? Explain their relevance in contemporary world. Again, this question is, you don't need to prepare as such. You see, all the questions, they are general or not, just application of general idea. All you would have about Tiruvalluvar, you would have studied in your GS history. Mahavir you have studied. So Mahavira, you can, the most important teaching of Mahavira is the three ratnas, the five ratnas, you can say, or five woes. Five woes. What is the five woes? One is that do not abjure violence. Abjure violence. Talk about little about Mahavira. He was the 24th Tirthankara of the Jainism, and he has given the 5 principles of life, that is abjure violence, then do not steal, do not steal, do not lie, do not lie, then minimum possession. Minimum possession means you should have less, we should not have so much, so that you control your greed. One more thing is there, abjure violence, do not steal, do not lie, minimum possession. So one more I am not able to recall. So what is basically all this thing? So he is giving what? An ethical framework of life. Ethical framework of life. In this way you can lead a ethical life. And what he is saying, explain their relevance in the contemporary world. So obviously we should abjure violence, because because of violence war is happening. So if there is no violence, everybody can live in peace and harmony. So peaceful and harmony is very important in today's world, the world which is ridden with war, violence. Do not steal. We should not steal any other's property. We should respect each other's property, isn't it? That is too important for protecting sovereignty of the country. What is done? Russia is forcefully taking away the territory of Ukraine. So violating the sovereignty of Ukraine. Right. We should maintain honesty, integrity. We should not steal others' property. We should not lie. Maintain honesty, integrity in life. Minimum possession. If everybody is satisfied with the minimum possession, there is no greed, isn't it? And that is important for sustainable living. Sustainable living, isn't it? Minimum possession, if you are satisfied with whatever you have, maybe 4-5 dresses you have enough to eat, and you have 2 or 3 bedroom house in which you can live really well. Why should we have so much of mansion, and not one mansion, so many mansion in all the part of the world? Right? So if we have too much of desire, endless desire, right? Desires are endless, so we should be able to cap it. And particularly in today's world, which is becoming unsustainable. Why the climate change and all? Because of unnecessary consumerism, too much. Where AC is not required, we still have an AC. Actually in Bangalore, AC is not required. If we have a proper eco-friendly building, AC is not required the way they run. If proper ventilation is there, no AC is required, isn't it? So because all this problem of unsustainability because of greed, So the Mahavira teaches these all aspects of life to lead a ethical life in the contemporary world. And with suitable example, you can explain. Next question, fifth one. One who is devoted to one's duty attains highest perfection in life. Analyze this statement that refers to the sense of responsibility and personal fulfillment as a civil servant. So, one who is devoted to one's duty attains highest perfection in life. So, obviously, as a civil servant, particularly as a civil servant, what is your duty? There are certain professional obligations, and if you fulfill your professional obligation, you will be attaining a highest standard in life, because everybody respect if somebody is discharging their duty well, isn't it or not? And in that case, you can give an example of TN Session. He was so much responsible to his duty that he even didn't listen to any political leader. He did not have any fear of any political pressure or so. Though he lost the election, presidential election, he's a very good example, you can quote him. He lost the presidential election because presidential election depends upon the support of political parties. Obviously, political party will not support him because he was a very activist as an election commissioner. But those political parties and politicians, they used to all fear him because he was so upright a person. He could not be corrupted. And he was so much adhere to his duties and responsibility. So he has achieved, people, if any election commission in India, it is TN Session. Because of his duty. Ashok Khemka, the IS officer, very recently he retired, and he was transferred so many times. Why? Because he has always given importance to his duties and responsibility rather than to political pressures. Constitutional morality. You can give their example when you talk about constitutional morality. TN Session, Ashok Khemka, you can quote these people. So that is what one who is devoted to one's duty attains highest perfection in life with the sense of responsibility and personal fulfillment. Of course, these people, they might not, have so much of money or luxury, but definitely they'll have a sense of contentment. At the end, they'll have a sense of contentment. Sense of contentment and personal fulfillment, that yes, I have done my duty well. They'll have at the end peace. So that is how you can approach this question. The next question is to achieve holistic development goal, a civil servant has an act as an enabler. So lot of public administration concept here. Enabler and active facilitator of growth rather than as a regulator. So for any development nowadays, what we are talking about, that civil servants or public servants who are the symbol of governmental authority, they should act as what? Enabler. Enabler means they should create an environment where people can do their own work. Earlier what happened? The public servant, they used to do everything from every aspect of the human life was managed by public servant, and they were doing everything from they were the provider of service, they were the provider of goods, everything. The government was manufacturing, government was doing. When we had an economy that is called mixed economy, but more power was given to the public sector unit, and everything was controlled by public servant, everything. Why? Because they were thinking that human beings, they are not capable of doing that. They treated people as a beneficiary rather than participant in growth or administration. They always treated people as they are like a beneficiary, we are the boss and we will take care of them. No, but that perception is changing. Now public servant, they should become as an enabler, facilitator. Now what is, like, they should build capacity of the people, build capacity What you have to do? Build good educational institution, build good health services, create employment opportunity, create employment opportunity, skill building, all these things, so that people will solve their own problem. People will not come to you. If they are capable themselves, they will not go to you to solve the problems. So you make them capacity building, and you work as an enabler. Enabler means facilitator. Okay, education, what you have to do? You don't have to provide government schools and all. You create. Let the private school do their work. Isn't it? Let the private school, but what you can do that? You can control their maybe fees and all, so that the fees do not become exploitative. That you can do. Secondly, you can provide subsidy to them, right? So now, like you see, PTC, for example, PTC, they are providing what? Students to the coaching institutes. They are not creating a coaching itself. Okay, we will create one coaching institute and we will call the faculties and we will make the aspirants prepare. What they are distributing among the coaching, the students, right? You coach them, we will give you the money. Facilitator, enabler, right? Rather than doer of the job, what they should do? Enable. They should create an environment where private sector, civil society, they can work in a proper manner. Citizens, you should seek people's participation. Seek people's participation in administration rather than treating them as a passive beneficiary. You should not treat them as a passive beneficiary, but more as an active participant in growth in administration. That is what you have to take this question. Rather than as a regulator, they should become a facilitator of growth. So, lot of those who's bad, I think they should do well. The questions are quite easy, I guess. It is said that an ethical work culture, there must be code of ethics, code of ethics in place in every organization to ensure value-based and compliance-based work culture. What suitable measures would you adopt in workplace? So it is about the culture, ethical work culture. How the ethical work culture will come? How the ethical work culture will come? An ethical work culture is the one where there is a system of accountability, there is a system of transparency, there is a system of integrity. That is what called as ethical work culture. There is an openness. There is also a system of grievance redressal. There must be certain code of ethics. So these are the do's and don'ts. Every organization, they should have this kind of code of ethics. What should be done and what should not be done. And then to ensure value-based and compliance-based work culture. So what is required? If you are the part of that organization, one, you create an suitable framework or code of ethics, do's and don'ts. These are do's and don'ts. And then you yourself has to become what? Lead by example. The higher authority, they should lead by example. Your subordinates, they will accept what you are saying only when you lead by example. If I say something else and if I do something else, if I am saying something A but I am doing B, obviously nobody will respect my words, isn't it? They will say simply, oh, so he says something but he does something. Why we should listen? So lead by examples. The higher officers, they should lead by example, they should create an example, a role model, they should become like a role model to be aped by their subordinates. That is how you can approach this question. I hope you got the clarity. The next question. India is an emerging economic power of the world, and it has recently secured 4th largest economy position. However, it has been observed that some sectors allocated funds remain either unutilized or misutilized. What specific measures would you recommend for ensuring accountability in this regard to stop leakages and gaining the status of 3rd largest economy? So you can start with that, India being the 4th largest economy, and we are aiming to become very soon the 3rd largest economy. But of course, there are certain concerns. There are certain concerns regarding the misutilization of fund or leakage of fund. And in that you can quote some example also. Be ready with some kind of data, this kind of data, how much of money is being spent and misutilized. In the budget also, many a time we have seen that they'll give you certain budget, but you will not able to utilize those money, and sometimes just to show that we have utilized the money, they misutilize the money, there is a leakage and all. So those things are there. Then how to plug those things, how to plug the misutilization of fund? Reverse the problem, you get the solution. So you have to see as an authority, you should see proper checks and balance are there, auditing of fund is there, proper auditing is there, use some technology or e-governance to see that the funds are totally utilized, there is no corruption, there is no leakage, right? E-procurement, so you will know, okay, this much of things has been procured, everything there is transparent. So use technology to see that there is no misutilization or leakage of fund. Auditing, proper auditing, third party auditing or social auditing is being done. Proper checks and balance. Through this we can see that the funds are not misutilized, but they are utilized in a proper manner. So again, all the knowledge of GS you can utilize. I'm just showing you that you just have to the knowledge of GS, you can easily write these answers. So you have to really prepare all the paper, GS paper 1, 2, 3, then you will be able to write, I guess, good answer. So this, I think I have already mentioned in the group. I asked them to mention in the group that you should read the topic and come, because we can't read this big. So here this is about this case study. Now look at the questions, what they are saying. They are saying that what are the options available with Bijay? I presume that you have read the case study. What are the options available with Bijay? What are ethical dilemmas being faced? So what are the options available with Bijay? That he has to perform his last rite of the mother, right? And he is also in a situation where there is a disaster and that has to be controlled, and he is in a responsible position. What are the options? So either he can leave his work and go for the last rite of his mother, or else simply he can stick to his job. Thirdly, he can delegate his work. He can ask his subordinate or anybody else that, I got all of a sudden some personal work and it has to be managed, because the disaster happened in Himachal Pradesh and his house, it is in Kerala, right? So it is not nearby. but obviously we have the flight availability and all, which he can go and come and do. But anyway, these are the issues. So these are the options. Either he will leave his work, go to conduct the last rite of his mother, stick to his work because his work demand him more than his family duties, and thirdly he can delegate his work to the subordinate or some senior, and then he can do his work, family duty, and come back, right? So these are the options available with him. Now what are the ethical dilemma faced by Vijay? So in all these options, of course, there will be the ethical dilemmas. So what are the ethical dilemma? The dilemma is whether he should stick to his duty versus family duty, isn't it? Official duty versus family duty. Then whether he should choose the official duty or family duty. If he is choosing his official duty, he is professionally doing his work and he is up to the professional standard and all, right? He is maintaining the professional standards. That is what he has vowed for. When you become a public servant, your duty become more important than your family duty. But at the same time, somewhere he would feel that I'm the only son and nobody is there, nobody, even family members are there. That is what in the case study it is mentioned. And I have lost my mother. That is also very painful thing, right? So that will be the ethical dilemma in his mind. What to do? Stick to the official duty or to the family duty. Both the situation are very, very difficult for him. Critically evaluate and examine each of the options identified. Then in third you have to talk about A. You have identified 3 options, isn't it? So talk about each option critically. If he leave his job and go for the family duty, what he is somewhere not able to do his professional duty properly, isn't it? He is not able to upkeep his promise what he has taken during joining the service, that he will give importance always to his professional duty over the family duty. So that is what first option. Second option, stick to his work. So of course when he stick to his work, obviously he has done his professional duty well, but then he will also have a kind of ethical dilemma in his mind, or feeling of remorse or guilt, maybe, that I was not able to discharge my family duty, and it was also very much important, very much important. Then what is the third one? Delegation of work. Suppose he delegate his work in way, say okay, he has delegated his work, he will feel that okay, my family duty was also very important, and the delegation of the work he has done, and he went to do the family duty. What if the disaster increases? Because in that question it is saying that in the past 2 days the rain has happened more and the disaster intensity increased. What in his absence his junior is not able to manage the situation? So that also will be in his mind, isn't it? So both positive and negative you have to mention. Then D. Which of the option do you think would be the most appropriate, Vijay, to adopt, and why? Which one? Option? A, B, C. A, B, C. Which option? C. So you can say that because his family duty is also very, very eminent and there was no one to take the call, and by also informing his superior and taking into confidence his junior, seeing that they are well trained. First of all, he has to see that the junior is properly trained. He has to balance his family duty along with the official duty. Official duty here it is also very critical because it deals with the life of many, because it is a disaster issue. So okay, mom to lost, mom is no more, but okay, but the rights are there, the formal rights has to be done, but what is more critical? The life to be saved, that is more critical. So he has to see, even if he is going for option C, he has to be doubly sure that things will be managed in his absence and quickly he can go and do the last ride and come back. But if he feels that things are not in that situation, delegation is not going to solve the issues or problem, and the issue is very, very difficult now in the terms of professional aspect, then he can, take the help of his villagers or relative to manage the situation, because what is very important? Saving life is more important than performing last rites, isn't it? Because here, even if saving one, when there is an option of saving one life, that is family life, an option of public life, which is more, you have to always go for public life, more life, you have to save more life, always. So that is how you can talk about. Then it looks like C is good, but then he has to be very doubly sure. But then if the situation is where he feels that professional duty requires him more, because ultimately saving life is more important than his family duty in this context. In that way you can conclude. The next one, okay, this one is 7. No, this one we did it, right? 7th we did it, 8th we have to do. This one, in the line of the directive principle of state policy, the Indian constitution, they want roti kapda makan, that is basics thing. At the same time, what the case study talks about, balancing basic thing with environmental sustainability. If you have gone through the case study, you will know that it is talking about that whether, let us look the question. The question is, can deforestation be ethically justified in the pursuit of social welfare objectives like housing for the homeless? Because in the case study it is mentioned that there should be the clearance of certain forest patch to provide housing for the people there. So that is what the question is, can deforestation be ethically justified in the pursuit of social welfare objectives like housing for the homeless? Then you see, it is not a direct question, it is a very tricky way you have to handle. You have to say that providing homes to the needy is also the objective of the government under the PM Awas Yojana you can talk about. But at the same time, environmental sustainability is also very, very important, because we have seen the issues of Uttarakhand and all, where if the forest is being cleared and if it comes under the ecologically sensitive region, constructing home can be more harmful than useful. Then what is the alternative? We have to find a place which is more suitable for home building or house building rather than clearing the forest. If clearing the forest is within the permissible limit after going the environment impact assessment and all, if it is there, yes, we can clear. But if it is not there and it is highly sensitive region, we should better go for alternative place. And we have to see how many houses has to be built, whether if a small patch of the land will be cleared and house will be built, that will be okay. If it is not okay, we have to, because the case study it is saying that some trees are there which are very old trees and their medicinal values, which is very important, right? Just to create the house, we can't create those, clear those and jeopardize the biodiversity. So we have to find some alternative place. That is very important. There has to be balance. Then second question, they are saying, what are the socio-economic, administrative and ethical challenges in balancing environmental conservation and human development? So you can talk about that. What are the socio-economic challenges? Of course, human peoples, they need job, they need housing, they need all the benefits to live a decent life. At the same time, Administrative and ethical challenges. What are the administrative and ethical challenges? Administrative challenges is that this area is a forest land. The area is a forest land. And of course, there are environmental issues are there. Environmental groups will be there. They will also tell ki why are you clearing the forest in the name of development. So that those things is there. They have to get environment impact assessment. All these issues are there. Ethical challenges is also there. Whether should we provide development or we should go for ecological sustainability. You can give the example of tribals living in the forest. Tribal living in the forest. So of course, what is the best way? We should not disturb the nature. But of course, we have to take care of those people who are living in the forest region, isn't it? So we have to balance. We have to see that what is best without harming the environment. Because if we harm the environment, we know how things are happening in Uttarakhand and all. And the Wayanad region, you see Wayanad, what happened? Landslides happen, the entire village vanished. What is the use of settling those people there? So we shouldn't play with nature, that we have to make it sure. But at the same time, we have to see what can be done so that the basic minimum need is being provided to those people inhabiting in that areas or inhabiting in the forest. So we have to find nearby area which are wasteland or barren land. There we can make them settle rather than cutting down the trees and all. In that way you can handle. The third one, what substantial alternative or policy intervention can be proposed to ensure both environmental integrity and human dignity. So similar way you can write about that. It is extremely important to balance the environment, sustainability, and for that what we should do, for any project to come, environment impact assessment has to be done. We should bring development to these people who are residing in the forest area, but at the same time the developmental model should be suited. So suitable development model should be brought to the people living in these areas without disturbing the nature. That way we can write an answer. So all these things, anyway, GS paper 3 environment you would have read. Similar important ideas from that you can apply. The next one is this. Subhas is the secretary of PWD in the state government. I think, I hope you would have gone through this case studies. What is the question? Let us discuss. The question is, discuss the ethical issue involved in the case. Now, what are the ethical issue involved? One, Subhas, he is the government officer in this. He is in a position of course, influential position. There is a son who is asking favor from his father, because you are a government official, you can give me an insider knowledge where to buy the property, and that property rate will go very, very high because of the project. And then there is another way, there is a minister whose nephew is involved and they also want insider information, so that the minister nephew, he is also real estate business. So that are the ethical. One way son is involved, another way senior minister is involved in influencing his decision, what he should do as a civil servant. Second one is critically examine the option available to Subhas in the above situation. So one, critically examine. So one, he can give information to his son. So if he give information to his son, okay, he is a very good father, but then he is going against his duty, right? He can give his information to the son and also to the minister nephew. So he will be in a very good position to the minister. Minister will also help him. So that's a very easy decision. And most of the people, they do in such way that only, isn't it? He'll help his son, he will also help the minister nephew, and it is very easy for him. But he is going against the professional conduct, professional duty. So it is official duty versus nepotism, official duty versus nepotism. And also the one issue is involved is conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. What is conflict of interest? When your official work or your personal work come in the way of official duty. Give me 5 minutes, okay? When your personal work come in a way of your official duty, that is called conflict of interest. And issues of official duty versus nepotism, these are the issues involved in this case, what he should go for. So first we have talked about if he support his son and the minister's nephew, it is very easy for him. But what he is going against? Official duty. If he don't support his son and minister's nephew, he'll feel as a father, I didn't do anything for my son. And secondly, he might get in a wrong way with the minister and the minister can trouble him. So personal life little difficult. But then professional uprightness, he is upholding his professional duty. Duty versus nepotism. And of course there is a conflict of interest which he can resolve by abiding by the constitutional, adhering to the constitutional duty. Then which of the above would be the most appropriate and why? Which option will be the most appropriate? Where he has to explain. So he should go in a very balanced manner. He should explain to the minister. He should explain to the minister that I cannot give all these information because there will be the auditing and all. If I am caught, you will also be caught. So we have to play very tactfully. So I can't divulge this information, but at the same time he has to take the minister into confidence. If it comes in the public, like the Mudda scheme came, right? Mysore Development Authority wala scam. So it will come in the public if you allot such kind of thing. Mudda scheme is a very good example for such kind of, quoting the example here. So anyway, it will come to the public notice if you do anything wrong. And so that is what he can explain to his son and he is to his minister, more to the minister, it is important. Son, okay, fine, we can still manage. And then he should stick to his professional integrity, maintain his professional integrity. But at the same time, it's not like outrightly taking panga with the minister, rather diplomatically making him explain, sir, that we can't do this because it is it will be an auction based, there could be the scrutiny and such information might come to the public notice and then it will finish my career and your career also. So we should be cautious and let him do his work, and please don't ask such kind of information from me or don't ask such kind of favor from me. Let me discharge my professional duty. In that way you can handle this question. Next or the last question here. This question is about Rajesh. This is 11.1. Ashok is a divisional commissioner. Okay, this one, let's look into this question. About the MNREGA, the right to work, 100 days, and this question is about, so there has been certain kind of fund mismanagement in this case study, and in this the person what he has to look into, what are the issues and problem that in the MNREGA, all of you know, what are the issue? Money is not dispersed to actual job seeker. Muster rolls and laborers are not properly maintained. Mismatch between payment, mismanagement of funds to the extent of siphonning of funds, approved works that never existed. So basically it is the corruption in MNREGA. Corruption in the MNREGA. What is the question? What is your reaction to the above situation? How do you restore the proper functioning of MNREGA? So problem is that before the person he took the charge of this program MNREGA in that district, his predecessor was doing the work. Before him his senior officer was doing the work, and he might got have transferred somewhere else, and he created all the troubles that the fund was not properly utilized, there is a fake muster roll and all, and he came to know all these problems. So what he is saying, what is your reaction to the above situation? How would you restore? So how would you restore? You know that there is a problem, there is a fake muster roll and all. So whatever the problems are there, you have to reverse it, you will get the solution. So here you will talk about, you have to call for social audit. Then social audit means how much is fund is there, how much fund has been utilized and how much fund is still pending. All those, there should be very clarity, everybody should come to know. And whatever the fake muster roll and all is there, that he has to work on and calculate and then reverse those. Another problem was that panchayat officials, they were also not well trained, that's why these leakages happened. So what has to be done? Panchayat official has to be properly trained so that they can identify the beneficiary well. All these problem happened because panchayat officials, they were not properly trained. That's why they were siphoning of money or leakages of money. So one, he can call for social audit, he can train the panchayat official so that such problems do not recur. Next question, what it is saying, what action would you initiate to solve the above various issues listed above? What all the issues we mentioned? That so each issues you will see. Money not dispersed to the actual job seeker. So for that, what he will call for? What he will call for? He will call for social audit. And then direct benefit transfer. Direct benefit transfer can be done. Secondly, muster rolls of the laborers not prepared properly. So what it has to be done? Again, muster roll should be reframed, taking into the actual realities and actual data. Verification of the muster, roll. Then third is mismatch between work done and the payment made. Again, there is, because of the why this problem happened, there is a mismatch between work done and payment not done, because of leakages and corruption. So he can call the concerned authority. Who was looking into all these kind of things, and he should sort it out. Why money was not paid to him? Why there is a mismatch? Next one, payment made to fictitious person. So whosoever is involved in all these cases, they should be brought to accountability. Why all this thing happened? Why there was a leakage of fund? So he has to make sure all these things. So each point you have to provide an answer. Next question is, how would you deal with the above situation? So you just have to summarize what we have talked about. So first of all, you will do the proper analysis, what was the exact problem, calling for a social audit. Secondly, calling for the people or bringing all the people involved in this mismanagement to justice. Thirdly, training the panchayat officials so that they can identify the beneficiary well, and and also one more thing you can mention about community participation. Community participation, or you can say social audit. Social audit is nothing but auditing done by the beneficiary themselves, because there is a provision of social audit in MNREGA, so that has to be properly implemented. So simple, this question is very simple. You have to just go by, okay, this were the wrong thing and you have to fix. Here much ethical dilemma is not there. Here much ethical dilemma is not there. Nowhere in the question is talking about the ethical dilemmas. The straightforward issue of corruption, and you have to resolve it. There is no problem of personal versus professional duty. So we'll end it here. There's a just one topic list. We will do it some other day. All the best.